So City 3, Manchester United 1 is how the derby finished here at the Etihad Stadium. And in truth, Stephen, there were a few moments where Manchester United looked like they were coming back into the game, but today kind of told us what we probably already knew. There is a serious gulf in class between these two teams at the moment.
Yeah, I think from start to finish, they dominated the game. There was a little spell in the first half where Man United just got a little bit of a foothold in the game, although they never really opened up Man City at any time during the game. Even the goal they did get back, the penalty, was against the run of play. The introduction of Lukaku gave them a slightly different dimension, but on the whole, it's night and day between the two teams at the minute. And unfortunately for Man United, it's going to be a battle now to get into that top four, in my opinion.
There was a little sense of optimism returning to the Manchester United ranks and their support on the back of that run where they lost just 1-6, and that was at home to Juventus. They went over there and won. They should have beaten Chelsea, and they went to Bournemouth and won. They come back with Newcastle. There was just a lot of good things that were improving the vibe around the place. Does this kind of just bring all of that last fortnight, 3 weeks, crashing back to earth?
It does. Because for me, the barometer of where Man United are is today. It's against a top opposition like Man City, and that gulf in quality and class is clear for everyone to see today. That's for sure. A couple of decent results for Manchester United in recent weeks, especially that win in Turin during the week, but I think they've come crashing back down to earth today. Unfortunately for them as well, it's going into the international period now. It's 2 weeks to stew on this result. I think they've got Crystal Palace in their next game at home, which is a game that they would probably expect to win, but you just never know at the moment with this Man United team.
So tell me your take from having seen them in the flesh today. Where are they as an attacking threat? What do you see when you see Manchester United trying to go forward?
I think they've got the players. When you look at that front three that started, you got Lingard, you got Rashford, you got Martial, and especially looking at the bench, the firepower they had that all came on. They got Mata, Sanchez, and Lukaku. So it's not a team that are struggling to find or have attacking players, but they need to be fed as well. The worry for me watching that game today for Manchester United would be the creativity in midfield. Got Fellaini, obviously Pogba, a massive miss for them, and you can see. I know he has got his critics, Pogba, and has he justified the price tag, blah blah blah. But when he doesn't play in that team, there's virtually no creativity whatsoever in that whole of that midfield three.
So Jose Mourinho, yes, maybe there was no creativity in that trio of players in Herrera, Fellaini, and Matic, which, look, there's no surprises there. We know what those guys, what their qualities are and what they don't have as players. But the four that they finished as an attacking quartet going forward once they made their changes: Lukaku, Martial, Mata, and Alexis Sanchez. I mean, pretty much every manager in the Premier League, bar maybe Guardiola, Klopp with the three that he has at their disposal, would kill for an attacking lineup like that. And yet they all look average when they play for Jose Mourinho.
Well, that's the thing. If you go back, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and you had the option of having that front three that Manchester United had and the front three that Man City had, you'd probably say there's nothing in it. Even on paper today, when you look at the attacking threat, I'm looking at that Manchester United bench and thinking, for the first time in a long time, I'd potentially swap that for Man City's bench going into the game today. So the quality is there, but this Man City team, the golf in class, in confidence at the moment, the movements when they're going forward, clear patterns of play, clear knowledge of what not only they're doing as individuals but what they're doing as a team. I just think when Manchester United win the ball, they just seem to run out of ideas so quickly, and at times I don't think they know what each other's doing.
So where to now for Manchester United? Because they'll have a chance to stew over today because we're heading into an international break. I'm not sure whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing right now, whether they need this break away from each other. But they host Crystal Palace and Young Boys in their next two games, then to visit to Southampton, and then they will be in that territory where they're either going to be in the knockout stages of the Champions League or they're not. Their next five games are at Old Trafford. Is that going to be the defining period as to whether or not we see Jose Mourinho at Old Trafford in January or for the longer term?
I can't see him going before the end of the season, that's for sure. I think the Champions League is going to be key. As long as they're in the Champions League, I still think he'll be in the position. I think that's going to be key to the success of their season. It's going to be a real battle now, because there seems to be a gap opening up now between Manchester City, between Liverpool, and Chelsea have got off to a flyer as well. But even Tottenham are a team that have managed to keep their squad together. Key players and the manager signing new contracts, so they're going to be a team that's on the up. They're going to be moving into their new stadium. They're going to be an attractive proposition potentially for the top players in European football. So it's going to be an interesting not only 6 months and towards the end of the season, but the gap between Manchester United now. If they don't close that gap quickly and finish in that top 4 this season, that could be a disaster for the club.